Alright, viewers, I am happy to finally dip my feet into the metaphorical potato salad that is SpongeBob theories. And pay no attention to the fact that I already used that joke in my first FNAF theory. Although you should go watch that video if you haven't already. Link is in the corner. So, I was rewatching SpongeBob, and something caught my attention. In the Season 1 episode, The Paper, there's a bit where Squidward plays his clarinet, but he gets some notes wrong. He doesn't realize that it was wrong, though, and SpongeBob corrects him. Now, that reminded me about how it's a running joke in the show that Squidward is bad at playing the clarinet, despite that playing the clarinet is one of the things he's remembered for the most. Well, my theory senses were a-tingling, and I thought, why? Why is he so bad at the clarinet? It's SpongeBob. There's hidden secrets, adult jokes, and deeper meanings all over the show. Hell, they even went on record to mention how there's certain rules to making SpongeBob for secret reasons. Plus, Steven Hillenburg, the creator, may he rest in peace, was a marine biologist, and based the show in facts. Obviously, with the exception of it being a children's show, events are still grounded in fact, for the most part. You know, maybe fire really can exist underwater. Sorry, that's a theory for another day. Anyway, so, as a musician myself, I thought my first SpongeBob theory shouldn't be too out there, and instead, I'll figure out why Squidward sucks at the clarinet. But first, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. There's more SpongeBob theories where that came from. Alright, my first thought was that maybe Squidward is just inexperienced. You know, everyone starts somewhere, so maybe we're just seeing the start of Squidward's clarinet playing. Except, he has moments of really good clarinet playing in the show. On top of that, he also has other instruments. You know, he's clearly capable of playing, he clearly has experience, so that can't be the case. Next, I thought, well, maybe Squidward's anatomy is against him here. You see, squids don't have lips in real life. They have beaks, which would not allow him to play the clarinet. But, due to him actively playing it, him having lips in the show, and the show still being a cartoon at the end of the day, I think we need to look past that, you know? Go based off his character design. No beak, therefore, that cannot be the reason. And then I thought, well, if Squidward isn't the problem, maybe it's the clarinet. So let's take a look at the anatomy of the clarinet, shall we? We've got the reed and the ligature making up the mouthpiece, the barrel rings and the barrel, the tone holes within the upper joint, the keys and the bridge key within the lower joint, and the bell ring and the bell itself. Pretty simple. It can look complicated to put together, but aside from needing to clean it from time to time, all the small stuff can usually stay on between usage, and the clarinet can only really be assembled one way. Like, yeah, you can rotate the parts to fit your hands better, but from the mouthpiece to the bell, each main piece can only really go in one way. You're not going to be putting the barrel between the lower joint and the bell. You know, it doesn't work that way. So, Squidward is assembling his clarinet correctly, and we can see that in the show, just based on the design. He is also knowledgeable enough to know the pieces, as we see in the Season 4 episode, Squidtastic Voyage. In that, Squidward accidentally swallows his mouthpiece, and he calls it a mouthpiece. If he knows the terminology of the mouthpiece, along with his obvious experience here, I think it's safe to assume that Squidward knows the parts. And then, it hit me. It's the mouthpiece, but more specifically, it's the reed. The clarinet reed is usually a piece of wood from the Arundodontax cane plant. We see in the show that it looks very similar to a traditional real-life reed, so we can assume it's made of the same material. Well, you want to know how the clarinet is played? The player puts the reed and the mouthpiece in their mouth, and they blow, but they allow the reed to vibrate. That's what makes the noise. And then covering certain holes creates different tones, or notes, which gets amplified in the bell when the sound is exiting the clarinet. The thing is, though, If you use too much spit when playing, the reed can absorb it. It is just wood after all, which absorbs water. When that happens, the reed becomes soggy, and when it's soggy, it does not vibrate as well. Thus, it does not produce the sounds as accurately as a dry reed would. Squidward sucks at playing the clarinet, simply because he is underwater. His reeds are soggy and swollen from the water and therefore cannot vibrate correctly. With enough force or determination, it seems Squidward can get a decent string of notes out from time to time, but he's not belting his notes when he's practicing, which is what we see him doing most of the time. That bit I mentioned at the beginning from the paper episode, Squidward likely played the notes correctly, with the right fingerings and all that. But since he was so focused on outdoing SpongeBob in the moment, he was not listening to how the sound was coming out. Come to think of it, if Squidward has as much experience as we're giving him credit for, you would think he would realize the issue here. Oh well. But leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.